Well, hello there, Molishani Bonse. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome if it's your first time here. My name is Tembi, and today, as promised, I would like to show you how I styled our entryway and bathrooms for Christmas. I'm not going to hold you too long because it's a gloomy day, and of course, even though I'm using the ring light, I just don't want this video to be prolonged. But I hope that you're good with the lighting. I didn't want it to be too bright in terms of having all the lights on and all that jazz. I prefer more of a cozy ambience. So I think we're making it work. Yeah, but anyway, let's get started in our entryway. Our entryway is quite small, and so I didn't want to overwhelm it with Christmas decor. Although I will say I still wanted it to make an impact, and so I decided to add some gorgeous candlesticks of, he kind of looks like a European Santa in my opinion. I don't know. You let me know if anybody from Europe is watching this video. But I thrifted those two candlesticks and they're just perfect in that space. And then I also thrifted the candles, believe it or not, the red candles. I think that they pair perfectly with the candlesticks. I decided to keep my dried florals in the vase. I think it's roses mostly, and I think that gives it more of an earthy vibe, but also just kind of gives you more of that laid back feel, so that way nothing feels too precious. Because even though I like my glam, and I'm not talking about like the glam style, I do like glamorous things, but I also want them to be approachable at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's the vibe that I usually go for. And above the candlesticks and the flowers, we have this vintage painting that I thrifted of fruit, and it stays there all year round. I think it pairs really well with the wallpaper in our entryway. Moving on to the coat rack, and I think that this is a little hack for you. That is, if you're still decorating for Christmas or if you'd like to take it over to next year. I think that adding stockings to your coat rack allows you to bring out more of that festivity in your entryway, and so that's exactly what I did. We don't necessarily put coats on there. I usually just have umbrellas and hats on there anyway, so I just moved those things into the closet, and I decided to bring out all of the stockings and the festive ornaments. And so the stockings that you see with the hair on them, I think all those were thrifted, but I really love them because they give off more of that country vibe, but then it's also quite traditional because of the colors. So if there's anything that I really love are the tapestry type of fabrics. I love them in my throw pillows. I've got a tapestry above our bed as well. And I think that it just really works in any space and helps to ground a space as well and give it more of that homey feel or vibe. And then the other red ones, those might have been thrifted as well, or maybe I found them at Dollar General. I've had them for a while, so I can't remember. So bear with me. But the bell ornaments are from Dollar General. I thrifted those last year, and I think they were only like 25 cents each, which is amazing. And then the one with the beading on it, the beading embellishments, is a thrifted ornament. And that's what I really love about thrifting, is that it allows you to incorporate some really unique pieces into your space. And now let's move on to the mirror. Above the mirror, I decided to cascade a garland that I got from Temu. I think I showed it in my haul, but I didn't really like this garland. It's quite cheap looking and feeling. It was only $5, which is, you know, give or take. Temu, the thing about Temu is it's a hit or miss, and I'll show you why in a little bit. But this one was a bit more of a miss. I just didn't want to not use it at all and just get rid of it. I'll probably get rid of it after Christmas, but it works in the space. I also used some Dollar Tree lighting on there. It's actually lighting it's fall lighting. I think it's acorns, or if I'm not mistaken. But I think it works in that space because it's pretty short, and it just gives it more of that cozy vibe as well. Something else that I keep in our entryway is a lantern. So should we call it a lantern? I think that's what they're. I might have forgotten what these are called, but yeah, it's a lantern candle holder. And I leave it in there all year round because I like to burn candles in there from time to time. But this time I just decided to elevate it above the floor by putting a stool underneath, and I think it looks really beautiful in the space and gives it more of that coziness that I crave all year round. So that is our entryway. Right next to the entryway, we actually have that little area over there that you're seeing behind me. I love how that turned out. I wanted to keep it simple. It's, you know, give or take. And so this time I used my garland that I got from Temu last year. And it's also a cedar garland, and that's what I was expecting when I got the one in the entryway. But that type of garland to me is chef's kiss. It's the modern version of it, and it also looks very real. So it's very real to the touch, and even just looking, like, it looks very real, which I love about it. And I added it above the mirror, and I also added some ribbon that I got from Temu as well, some brown ribbon. Made sure it was pretty long. I tied it up with some wire, and it's just cascading in the center, and I think that looks amazing. And then I added some twinkle lights to it. It lights up at night and looks absolutely amazing. You're going to be seeing that footage in this video, but I think that just brings it to life and brings that area to life. To me, that screams the festive season, in my opinion. I decided to add some florals on top of our old or vintage record player. And this time I went for lilies, pompons, and some greenery. And I have been loving it. I've actually kept it that way since the fall. And I think I'm going to just keep it the same throughout the winter time, because it really does bring in a lot more life into our space, and it gives me a sense of comfort because I don't necessarily like the winter. And so seeing live greenery or florals or plants just helps me to cope with this weather. But yeah, that is a tip for those of you maybe who kind of feel like who feel a little low during the winter time, especially if you're not seeing life around you. Just keep your homes full of greenery and live plants and florals, and I think that will help to brighten up your day. But anyway, next to the florals, or on the other side, on the other end, right beneath my lamp, I added the bottle brush tree that I got from Ollie's, and I really love it. I think it just adds a little bit more Christmas whimsy in the space, but I just love it. It's quite, I wouldn't necessarily say it's simple. It's kind of simple. There's not too much going on in terms of Christmas or festive decor, but it's just perfect. I really love it. And now let's move on to the bathroom. In our kids' bathroom, or the guest bathroom if you'd like to call it that, I wanted to keep things simple in there as well because I didn't want it to be overwhelmed with Christmas decor. I've already decorated these spaces, and so you just want to kind of add to them really subtly, you know, with some subtlety. So on our vanity, bathroom vanity, because it's very small, I added a pedestal on there because I think just giving it height allows me to be able to play around with the decor a little bit better. And so I have this vintage, I'm not sure if it's vintage, but I thrifted the Christmas tree. I love the different colors. It's more so like gemstone colors that it has, and it's covered in glitter as well, which I just love. I think that for a small space, something like that just makes a bit of a statement and just brings in that whimsy as well. And then next to it, there's a vase that I decided to fill with some thrifted branches, and these branches look pretty realistic. Now this is not cedar. I'm not quite sure what type of branch that is. It is faux, but it looks very, very realistic. And I just love how sparse it is at the same time, and that it's facing different directions. I didn't want it to just stick out from the top, and I think that that looks really, really pretty. And then for my garland, I got some cedar garland from Temu as well. And this garland is really beautiful. It's very realistic, and I think it was maybe $7. So next time I'll try to look for the vendors who sold me the old garlands versus the one that I got this year. I don't know what happened there, but I really do like how natural it looks, and I definitely wanted it to give more of a natural feel. And so I just decided to hang it above the largest art piece in our bathroom on the gallery wall, and I think it looks absolutely amazing. And then underneath I created some garland with some ornaments, leftover velvet ribbon, and I love the feel of the layers that it's giving, and it even gives it more of that modern vibe as well. And that is basically it. Well, I forgot, there's a bench right underneath the gallery wall, and there I just added a thrifted Christmas cushion or throw pillow, and I also added a throw blanket that's thrifted as well, and I think that is quite festive, a good way to bring in some festivity. And now let's move on to our bathroom. So our ensuite is pretty spacious, but at the same time, like I said, I'm not trying to overwhelm any of these spaces, and so there's a shelf that I added to the bathroom, and on that shelf I added some bottle brush trees that I got from Dirt Cheap a while back. They're flocked and they're very simple, and they make quite a statement as well at the same time. So I think that that looks good above there. And then on the vanity itself, I have a candle, and I also have some roses that are, you know, they're wilting, but I like the red, the pop of red in the space. I think it makes it look really festive. If I don't want flowers on there, I'll probably add a bust up there and add some ribbon, but for now I think that looks great. I also, what else did I include in that space? I added a wreath, and it's more of a trumpet type of wreath. It's a vintage wreath, and I just added some ribbon to it right next to the vanity. And I think that that is a good way of adding some Christmas touches to the space. And then lastly but not least, I added a little glass tree on one of our stands, so I use it for storage. And it just helped to simplify everything so it's not in the way of the other decor. But at the same time, it brings in that festive feel as well. And that is basically everything that I did to these three spaces. Now, I'm not going to show you what I did in our kitchen. I think I'll leave that for our Christmas tour video, which is coming your way very, very shortly, because basically the entire apartment is completely decorated, decked out for Christmas, and I'm enjoying the decor. I think it's really speaks to my personal style. Oh, and another thing I wanted to mention is thank you so much for your response in my last video. I really do appreciate you all for feeling the same way and just enjoying the vibe of the video. So thank you again, and welcome to all of our new subscribers. It's great to have you here, and I hope that you stay along for the ride, and I hope to see you all in the next video, which will be our Christmas apartment tour. And yeah, bye everyone.